it's tough, it's draining, and not every day is good. And I think it works the same way in every field. Whether you're working at a restaurant, anything that has to do with service, you need to constantly wake up every morning and tell yourself, today's going to be a good day. Today, I'm going to do my best. And obviously the people listening can't see it, but I have things on my walls that remind me that. I have pictures of me as a child smiling. I have little things on the wall that say, like, today I will love you. Because I know how to make money. And by making money is by providing a service, by giving somebody my all. But I cannot forget that I have to give myself a little bit too.
Welcome to Black Belt Beauty Radio, a podcast fueled by a passion to support your journey in developing your most beautiful and optimal performance in life. Each episode is driven with the intention to elevate your mind. When we elevate our mind, we elevate our life. So get ready. It's time to rise. Welcome back, you guys. Today's episode is with a very good friend of mine by the name of Castillo. So by profession, he is a celebrity hairstylist. He's so talented, you guys. I mean, some of his clients are Halle Berry, Ruby Rose, Priyanka Chopra, the list goes on. It's robust. He's been in the game for a minute, and yet he hasn't even scratched the surface of, the peak of his career. And that's so exciting. We actually dig into that whole crazy idea, or fact, I should say, in this episode. But beyond that, one of the reasons why I wanted to have him on as a guest is because, to be Castillo, to be where he is within his career is a very difficult journey. You can't, I'm a celebrity makeup artist, we run along the same paths, and essentially, you're a freelance artist, which means, there's no guarantee. You have to create everything on your own, and that's hard. And it's really hard in the beginning, too, because you're making less money. You don't get paid, frequently. I mean, it's gnarly. So the fortitude, the perseverance, the resiliency, all that mindset stuff that, we gain from this journey in our career is very, very inspiring, or it can serve to be inspiring. I mean, I'm inspired by Castillo. It's been so incredible. In all the years that I've known him, I've watched him, as a friend, but then also from an outside perspective, develop his career, develop his creativity, his artistic talents. I mean, and like I said in the beginning, he's just getting warmed up. So there's so much more to look forward to from him. So this conversation is fun, you guys. It's, my hope is that, whatever you do in your life, you don't have to be a hairstylist, obviously, or a makeup artist. I mean, it's inspiration that can leak into anyone's life because it's really all about perspective and process. And, Castillo's perspective and process is one that I very much admire. So I hope you have fun listening to this conversation. I enjoyed it so much. There's a lot of cackles and, language. So if kids are around, you might want to put them away, but that's pretty standard with me. And I'm sure you guys know that at this point. But anyways, without going too deep into a long intro, because I love him so much, I'm going to just dive right into it with you guys. Hit play and let you enjoy my conversation with Castillo. Castillo, are you ready?
I'm ready.
We got our beverages. Castillo, what are we drinking right now? Let's
drinking Nespresso's finest. I think the name is Storm.
Ooh,
it's really? A level down from Intenso, which is the espresso, like the highest one, but this is one below because I ran out of the other pods. And then I used some of your stevia, vanilla flavored in it to make it sweet. Is it mind-blowing, stevia? I don't know. It's mind-blowing, but I feel like what's in your mug is a little bit more mind-blowing.
Okay. I mean, so I should say this first. I was that girl who would, in California, if I was going to stay at some hotel somewhere local, literally pack my Nespresso machine and my milk frother for my almond milk and fucking go to the, hotel with it. Because if they didn't have it, some hotels do, I was not going to be without my Nespresso. Starbucks, sorry, doesn't cut it. You know why? Because the froth. You know the froth, the crema? Oh my God.
What is that? It lasts forever. Like, I'll leave my mug in the sink and I come home and the froth is still there.
That's scary. I know it's that crema. It's that like European coffee. So a couple years ago, I discovered, this is going to sound like an ad. It's so funny, but it's not. It's so true. Four Sigmatic. So it's several things. I have several products now, but what I'm drinking is their lion's mane and chaga, which is our adaptogen mushrooms mixed with coffee. So adaptogens, essentially, like there's many different forms, right? So you have like ashwagandha. Maybe you've heard of that.
I have heard that.
Okay, so that's an herb. These mushrooms are adaptogens, and so what they do is they have the ability to go into your body and kind of neutralize stress. So, and that's one thing that they can do, right? So I'm going to use lion's mane as an example of what else it can do. Lion's mane is known as a nootropic, so it stimulates your cognitive ability. So if you need to, right now we're recording a podcast and I want my brain like fully here on with you, my memory, my focus to be on, lion's mane, it stimulates your brain to be working in that direction. Chaga is like, it's actually, it might have changed, but it's known to be the highest recorded antioxidant on Earth. And so this is a mushroom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, you know, all the flu and the cold that was going around for months that everyone basically that I've known or I know got, I didn't get it. And I'm a makeup artist. Yes, I did not get sick, and I'm so proud of that.
I think I need that in my life, because I feel like I've been getting sick every month.
Oh my gosh, so you're getting the pleasure of coffee, and like I said, there's so many other...
So how long until you start, like, hallucinating?
I think I already am. Can you imagine?
Is my face warping yet?
They're like, wait, what is this podcast? Is this an ad, or is this a podcast? I'm like, what's happening right now? You guys, now let's get down and dirty. I am so excited to have my boy, Castillo. First of all, you're a real friend, and that is something very special to have in life, period. But especially like when you meet people through work life, the ones that really, really become a part of your core, that, okay, maybe you don't get to see them every day, you don't get to talk to them, but it will never go too far to where there's like a disconnect, because you can't, because you have a real connection with them. And I've had that with you from the fucking beginning. And so to have you here on the podcast now to share your mindset, your aura. I feel like people can feel your energy. They will feel your energy as we get into your story. And so I'm so grateful to have you here.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. Yeah. I feel like there's so much pressure on me now.
No,
but I do share the same love for you as well, and I'm so thankful that you're asking me to do this for you. And it's been a pleasure to just see you grow in the past 3 or 4 years since I've known you.
Yeah. No, dude, it's been longer.
I'm sure it has been. I think my coffee's kicking in right now.
You know what? No, one of my girlfriends, one of the recent episodes that I just threw up on Black Belt Beauty Radio, she's an Olympic swimmer, on the podcast, I was cracking up because most of you, I mean, hopefully you guys have heard this already. So we're kind of replaying when we met, and I was like, yeah, when we met last summer. She's like,
stop.
She goes, no, we met in like March.
Stop.
It's April. No, it's May now. And I'm like, wait. No, we didn't. She goes, yes. Sorry.
It's that shroom coffee you're drinking.
We were drinking it too.
Amazing.
Oh my gosh. She's like, no, it was actually January. But I was cracking up, and I was actually so grateful because I go, wow, it feels like it was longer, but when you can, it's easy to lose track of time with real friends. So 3 years, 30 years, whatever. Anyways, let's get to you.
Okay.
Babe, let's dig right in. You are an incredible human, first and foremost. You're an incredibly talented fucking artist. Your medium, one of which is hair. I want to go into the early years of Castillo and maybe you can walk us to how did you come to discover that you even have a love and passion for being a hairstylist, for beauty?
Well, I think growing up, it was definitely just something that I literally picked up. And I remember being a child and picking up my cousin's Barbie doll and taking the scissors right to it. And she was, totally responsive to it and was like, oh my God, it's so cool. And I thought that it was fun. And I'm when I was a child, I was saying like maybe 6 or 7. I was so young. I didn't know if a boy should be even picking up a Barbie doll. There was no good or bad. I just knew that I was hanging out with my cousin and she had her Barbie dolls out. And the first thing I wanted to do was give it like a makeover. And long story short, that at the end of that night, I remember there was a phone call. My dad picked it up and it was my uncle. My uncle, I guess, somehow told him like, your son just cut up my, daughter's Barbie doll that we just bought her. Like, that's not cool. And so my first memory of me exploring the interest in wanting to do hair was me being scolded by my father. And it wasn't just like hey, you shouldn't do that. It was like an abusive, like with a belt and like me on the floor crying because one, I'm sure he was trying to figure out why his son was playing with Barbie dolls. Yeah. And two, you're destroying someone else's property. So that was like my first like realization, like, oh, this is something that I like, but it's bad.
Wow. So
it was something that I kept inside for a long time, but I knew that, like, I can even tell you right now, just because I love you so much, that I was playing football. My dad had me in every sport. He wanted me to be like the dude's dude, like just like hardcore, like the best baseball player, the best football player. But I remember playing football. I was good at it, but I would always look at the cheerleaders' hair and I'd be like, how do they get it so curly? Like, do they just like wear those like curly, like those the curlers in their hair all day? Like, literally, I would like zone out on it. Like, it was just so weird. But it wasn't until I got older and it wasn't until I was able to take care of myself that I realized like this is something that I really enjoy doing. And in high school and the later years, like 8th grade, I would pick up clippers and I would cut, my friend's hair. I would give them fades and I would do the most masculine version of what my interest was. And it's still like crossed over to when I graduated high school and I went to school for interior design. So I was always interested in fashion and interested in art. And when I came out of high school, I wanted to ask my parents if I can go to cosmetology school. It's what I really wanted to do.
Wow. So as you're going to college, you're still...
Oh, I was still doing hair. I was like, I remember being in like senior year in high school and I was dating this girl and she still has 2 sisters and I did their hair for prom and attended prom, so it was like, and back then I didn't know what I was doing. I was only like, my idea of like success, like people would tell me like, I could totally see you doing hair for like the E! Network and the girls really? That would, yeah, like that was, and I was like, wow, I wish one day that I could possibly like do the hair of like the newscaster or someone that's on TV, because to me that was a celebrity.
Right.
I didn't think like actresses got their hair done. I just thought they were just like these unicorns that walked out like that. But and even when I went to school, I finally finished design school and I finally made enough money to kind of support myself, and I was like, I'm gonna pay for myself to go to barber school.
Were you out here? Were you in LA or where were you?
I grew up in LA.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yep. OG. I love it.
I grew up in LA. I moved out of I think it was my father's house at the age of 17. My parents separated when I was 11.
Oh wow. Okay.
My brother and I are 7 years apart, so when they separated, I was basically his father.
Yeah.
And I helped raise my brother. And my parents left and went their separate ways. And we stayed in the house for the remainder of the year until they sold it. So it was like an interesting thing. But when I went to school, I went to barber school first to get my license. Because I was like, this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to go in there. I'm going to be a barber. And I'm going to play the part. And I'm going to learn all that I can learn in this. And then we'll see where it goes. And even when I was in school, the teacher would pull me aside and she would be like, are you sure you don't want to do women's hair? Like, there's a lot more money to do.
Wow.
There's a lot more money there. And I was like, no, I want to be a barber. Because I was still scared. I didn't know what these people were going to think of me. And, like, I'm in a school with a bunch of, like, hard dudes. Like,
right.
that have their story. And that,
I wonder
the last thing they thought about was braiding a woman's hair,
Yeah, totally.
But being in school, we had to learn on mannequin dolls. And on our downtime, I would pick up the doll head and I would do braids. And people were like, you're getting better at that. And I would, like, do the blow drying and all these things that we had to do, but I would do it just to kind of get better at it. And once I finished that, I went to cosmetology school afterwards, and I was like, no, like this is what I need to do. And once I did that, I was like, okay, I have the confidence because I have the license that I need to go out there and be like, no, I did go to school for this, and I do want to do this.
That's amazing. So you knew it all along. It was just really like coming to the courage that you know, to be basically being brave enough to be like, okay, I'm ready to take the next step. I'm ready to take the next step. But
and to be like not care what people think.
Yeah,
because my parents were old school. Like I remember being young and my mom would be like, don't act like that. Don't be you. Don't say that. You know, I was constantly being told how to act and how to be. And when you're around these people, you need to be nice and don't look at those people. Don't. And it's like, so I was always being told how to act and feel. And I think that's why in my adult years now, I'm such an introvert, because I've learned how to master being alone and being with my feelings and knowing how to navigate through this world without having to ask somebody, do I make a left or a right?
That's amazing, actually, right?
Yeah, it's great.
I mean, I relate to that so deeply.
It's okay, but then it's kind of hard when you want to be in a relationship, because then you're just like, why are you so independent? I'm like, I like my fucking space. Is that so bad?
Oh my gosh, I know. We talk about this often because I'm right there with you in the sense of I think I'm an ambivert, you know, so I do
What's
have
that?
An ambivert is someone who kind of crosses, is just kind of like right down the middle, you know, between extrovert and introvert. But the problem is, because most people that know me would be like, what, introvert? If they don't really know what this is.
Yeah.
They'll be like, what do you mean? Because I'm, you know, I'm not this like quiet girl in the corner. But that's not necessarily what an introvert means. It's like, it's my recharge requires solitude. And I need a lot of it. Like, I want a lot of it.
Oh,
you know?
I'm the same way.
I know. We both are that.
But people aren't like that.
I know. Well, and I find that actually there's a lot of people, a lot of kind of well-known, successful people, especially artists, creative people, who maybe, you know, the world would not deem them to be introverts, but then when they sit down and they're having a conversation like you and I are having, they're like, no, I'm actually an introvert. So it's an interesting concept, this introvert extrovert thing. But yeah, I feel you. You know, having that solitude to kind of sit with yourself, I think it's actually very empowering, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because it's uncomfortable for a lot of people to do that.
Yeah, and the thing is, we take the opportunity to recharge and to be inspired and to get ourselves ready to be in front of people, to do hair or makeup.
Dude.
And some people don't understand that, because their way of recharging is like vibing off of somebody else and vibing off of that energy. But I think with our job, we're so much like therapists that we need to work through our own feelings in order to help.
I love that you just took us there, because it was literally coming to me as you were saying it, where it's like, yeah, I mean, with our work, it's so full on. Like, we're literally, it's almost like a performance. I mean, it's real, it's genuine, but you know, you have to be so attentive from an emotional level, from a mental, like from a physical. So you have to be so all in, and that takes a lot of energy.
Oh yeah.
So by the time, like, as an athlete, I can truly say that the exhaustion that I feel from like training jiu-jitsu for hours and lifting weights before that does not compare to the exhaustion of like award season. Like,
oh my gosh, it's so like, stressful.
Dude, it's gnarly.
How about,
and you
like,
can't even talk when you're done.
The amount of like mind fuck that our industry has. It's like, so you get a client and you have your walls up and you want to just be there to provide a service. But then you create this bond where it's like a friendship. But then you don't want to like cross the line, because you still want to be the one that puts them in a good mood and makes them happy and makes them beautiful. But then that's not a real friendship, because a friendship is someone that you can bounce off true feelings. Yeah. So it's like you have to like draw these lines, and it's like you almost forget what it is to have a real friend, because you're so used to filtering out your own feelings to just be this like, you know, soundboard for people.
That is so brilliantly put and so true. It is this constant dance on these lines to know, you know, to know boundaries, basically, I think. And I think it's hard too when you or, you know, when you want to just go all in and be full on, but then you have to remember like, oh wait, but this is a work thing. And that's something I think that we learn as we get deeper into our career, or have learned as we have gotten deeper into our career. Let's go into this section right here. When you decided that, so you get your licenses, right? Mm-hmm. And you're like, I'm going to go all in with this. Did you know exactly how you wanted to channel your career at that point? Did you know about what freelance even was, or were you thinking salon, or were you?
I was thinking, I would be so happy if I had my own barbershop down the street, and I was just basically making everyone in my neighborhood fly. And, you know, I grew up with getting $20 haircuts down the street. So that was where I was coming from. I didn't know these dollar signs and the amount of money that you can possibly make by being a freelance hairstylist. So I was like, I'm going to open up this barbershop. And at the time, when I finished going to barber school, I went to cosmetology. By the time I was in cosmetology school, my younger brother was confiding in me and was like, you know, I have this girlfriend that I love, and I'm not making enough money. I'm just like scared that she's gonna leave me. And I told him, like, why don't you just go to barber school? Because there was moments, I mean, I cut his hair all through his, like, when he was in school as well, and he enjoyed doing it. And he would tell me, like, oh, I used your clippers to cut my friend's hair, and I have 2 friends coming over and I'm gonna cut their hair. So I knew that he had a passion for it, and that you don't just pick up a pair of scissors and start cutting someone's hair. You're like, you know what I mean? Like I would never do something, you know, I love doing everything, so I can't really give myself an example, but I wouldn't pick up makeup and put it on someone's face.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because
totally.
That's not what I'm good at. So I told him to do that. So he enrolled in my barber school and went there and ended up graduating. But my idea was, my brother and I are going to have this barber shop, and it's going to be so close that we can walk to, and that's how we're going to live our life. But obviously it turned out differently.
I know, I was going to say,
a lot differently, because you don't really know. Like I told you, when I was in high school, I thought the top of this industry is working for, like, the E! Network and doing all of the, you know, talk hosts and all that. Like,
right.
I didn't know that there was even red carpets and all this stuff. Like,
you know what's funny is that when I started doing makeup, I mean, it was a long time ago. I mean, when I started and when I committed full time, there was like a decade in between, right, where I did different things. And even when I committed full time to a freelance career, it was still in a place where, you know, you say I'm a makeup artist and people are like, for what brand? You know, like the concept wasn't there of like, oh, you work with these celebrities, or you do. Now I feel like we're in a place where there's more, you know, because of social media, I think, you know, there's more of an awareness of things, of what the nature of our work is. But that had to have been really interesting for you to discover that, holy shit, like, there's much more than, no offense to the E! Network, but like, there's bigger things in the E! Network.
It's
and
so
like,
huge, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was going to school for barbering, I was living in downtown, and I had gotten financial aid, obviously, but I had no money. I was living in I rented out a bedroom, and it was by USC. It was like $500, and there was no bathroom. I had to use like the bathroom downstairs. It was this like really sweet Cholo family, and they had this room that was on Craigslist. I lived there, and I remember I had met someone that was like, I need you to meet my friend Carlos Ortiz. He's a hairstylist, and I think that you'll vibe off of him. And I met him. He showed me his loft in downtown, and it was beautiful. He had this salon that was in there that he built from the ground up. Totally gutted this loft out, and he was like, you're really interested in doing hair? I'm like, yeah, I would love to, like, just shadow you while you're here. He's like, how about this? And I was like, just eager then. So he's like, I'll take you to set with me. You assist me, and I'll take you'll eat on set, and then I'll take you to dinner. So there was a year period where I was assisting him just for meals, because that meant I didn't have to think about how I was going to eat dinner. And like back then, it was like $5 Subway sandwiches. So I would buy the footlong for $5. I would eat one in the morning and then eat one at night.
That's amazing.
But then when he started showing, so he showed me this whole new like world where I can go to work with him, and there was the craft service table with snacks. And then there was like a full-on buffet for lunch, and these were like, you know, Target commercial things like that. And I was like, I was assisting him, but I was learning more of how to be on set and watching how he interacted with the people and how he kind of kept an eye on his work and stuff like that. But I was still in school, so I didn't take it as seriously, nor did I think I could ever be at that level. So it was just like, I had these glimpses and these little like signs that like, you can have this. And I thought assistants didn't make money, and it got to a point where like 2 years helping him, he's like, I'm going to start paying you now.
That's rad.
And then I started getting paid, but it was like $250 for the day.
Right.
It was like the assistant rate.
Right.
But I was using that money to pay for my rent. And I was like, I'm good.
Oh my gosh. It was actually, yeah. I mean, at that time, I imagine that felt like you were kind of killing it in a way.
Oh yeah, I was like, I figured this out.
Right.
And not only that, I'm on set and I'm eating like surf and turf, like steak and shrimp, and like it's only lunchtime and it's not even my birthday. It all comes down to
food. Like if we're eating good food in our life, we're killing it.
Oh yeah, like you were saying, yeah, you have a nice plate of food in front of you. You're like,
right. It's an example of how I'm thriving.
Yeah.
Yes. That's so great. And wow, I'm sure now in hindsight you realize that was a really important opportunity, because so much of what we do is not even, well, let me reframe it. A lot of what allows us to advance comes down to, it's beyond our talent. It so much has to do with interaction with others. It's our relationships, and that, set etiquette is a big part of it. You can't just roll up to a set and be, there's a certain finesse that has to take place in addition to being talented. And so for you to experience that and to, obviously it sounds like you were with someone that was showing you that kind of what it looks like to be in that realm from a very kind of positive, healthy place, right? Like you didn't have like a diva that was like on set and showing.
Absolutely not.
You sounded like you were in good hands.
I was in great hands, and I think that looking back to my childhood, it really helped me, because I constantly had these like ball-busting parents that were like telling me that I sounded arrogant. And I was like 8 years old. I don't even know what that is. That's so vain for you to say, son. And I'm like, what is vain? So the fact that I was broken down so hard growing up, it made me realize that I didn't need to be so loud, that I can just be in the moment and be, I was a talkative kid. My report cards were like, he cannot keep his mouth shut. He wants to talk and he wants to ask questions and all these things, which was great. But, being at our level now, it's almost more appreciated if you're not the loud one. Oh. And you let your work speak for itself.
It's like, I kind of want to applause right now. So there's a few things I want to say about that. One, you're so right. I so feel in alignment with what you just said. And I am a witness to your demeanor. We get to work together, which is so rad. And I, we were talking about it earlier where I'm like, you definitely, man, there's so much energy that comes out of you when you speak, but you have this professional way about you. Your etiquette is just so, I think it's very zen and calming, which I think is, appreciative to a lot of different clients. Because they're already going through a lot of whatever they got to get through, or getting prepared for whatever they got to get through. So to have someone like you who has that zen, calm energy and is very collected and not loud, I think is beautiful, and I'm sure very valued. I would imagine so. But what's the other part of what I want to say that I think is funny is it's interesting how kids really show you a lot of who they are and what they love at such a young age. So I too used to get in trouble. Well, you didn't say that, like you were, but I got in trouble so much to where one time in the 7th grade, my mom had to come to and sit in class with me because I was always talking.
Yeah.
So, and I definitely am similar to you when I, unless it's like a client that's like the super homie, and then we can just kind of rap out like how you and I rap out. But if it's, not that, which it's fine. Not all clients are going to be that way. I feel that I possess that same kind of, I just kind of, I'm there, I'm doing my thing, and I'm there to be calm energy. But here we are on a fucking podcast that I created because I love communication. I love conversation.
It's so much fun.
I know.
If we could do this at work all day long, I probably would never leave. But it gets to a moment where I need to leave and like talk to somebody. Like, I'm like, Mom?
Isn't it funny?
Hey, Mom. I was on set all day and I was completely quiet, but I did a great job.
Oh my gosh, that's so true. That happens. So, yeah, that's funny, actually. Yeah, that's why you can't have an assistant who's, that's one of the big things, right? When people want to come assist us.
Can you tell me, I've had those assistants where I'm like,
stop talking.
Like, I want to just crawl up into a ball and be like, this person did not come with me here.
Oh, no.
But see, the thing is, on set, it's a little bit weird, but I do have like one or two friends that are extremely
flamboyant,
loud and expressive, and it's so entertaining for me because I know that it comes from a passionate place and it comes from deep down, and they're just like no filters and stuff. And yeah, sometimes it could be weird, and sometimes if we're in public it's a little bit off, but like I don't judge them. I just know that they've lived their life always like this and no one's ever told them to be different.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's so cool that I feel like there's, on the one hand, we can look at, the fact that your parents were kind of schooling you in a way of like, be this way or don't think this way. And that that could be a very difficult thing for a child.
Horrible.
Right. I mean, I can't imagine that being fun. Not only that,
I'm like completely obedient. So I was like, okay. I'm like literally taking notes. Like, don't be happy. Oh my goodness. Like, I just want to make them happy. So I got to like do all of this. I mean, keep in mind, my parents had their own issues, and my dad was an alcoholic, and my mom was kind of like a wild child, and so they would fight, and there was domestic violence back then. Back in the 80s, late 80s, it was like
normal. It's my family too.
I would wake up in the middle of the night, they were boxing, and I was like, oh my God, So it's like, not only did I learn how to keep my mouth shut, but I also learned to like not look people in the eye and to not be genuine, because me being genuine would like let the secrets out of my family. You know what I mean? So it's like things that we should never learn as we're a child. I learned because there was no other choice.
Right. That's gnarly. I mean, I can relate in some ways because that was my upbringing too.
Isn't that crazy? That was okay back then?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't, but it was like, but it was happening. I'm sure it's still happening. I mean, like, let's be real, it's still happening. But I think what I love about and I was kind of touching on this before, is that you took something that was very difficult and dark in a way, but you flipped it to where it works for you in a positive way now. Like you said, like you can be on set and you know how to carry yourself in a way where you're not where you don't have to be loud or, really, I mean, as long as you're being authentic, which I feel that you are, I think that you've discovered other parts of you now. So it's like you have the side of Castillo that is the more quiet, reserved, and then there's the other part that was like me and you an hour ago, like.
Well, the funny thing is, it's like, because I like to think that I'm very spiritual and I connect with the universe and energy and stuff. And a big part of spirituality is embracing your inner child. And I think for such a long time I neglected my inner child because of the awkward feelings that he would have growing up and the things that he witnessed. And I didn't want to associate myself in the present with that child because he was helpless and confused and lost. And it wasn't until I embraced it, and I even as much as started putting pictures of myself as a child, I was smiling in every photo. And I don't know why I wanted to neglect it so much, but it was more about what was surrounding me that made me not want to connect with it. But once I connected with it through therapy and meditation, I was able to understand that he was fine. It was just the things around him were a little bit difficult. So I'm actually taking this improv class to help me bring that person back, where I'm a little bit more outspoken and a little bit more wittier. And it's funny because my acting teacher would be like, you're so raw up there. Like, your comebacks are so strong. Because in real life, I would never openly, like, fire off, like, anything. Like, you know what I mean? I care too much about what people think of themselves. I don't want to ruin anyone's day. I don't want to affect anyone if it's not in a positive way.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? So totally. To be able to be outspoken and to be these things, it's dangerous when we're in society because you never know how it's going to affect somebody. And you don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that person.
Yeah, totally. Well, but man, what you give off is always beautiful. And yes, you are absolutely a, connected human being. I mean, that's where I know it's one of the most, I think the strongest, draws that we have to each other is that we're both, conscious, wide awake humans. And, you
are like that. And I think that's why I'm so like responsive to your energy. I'm like, yes. And
it's effortless. It's natural. I mean, so let's go into this area. Because you and I have been on like the same, I can never say this word good. It's so funny. Trajectory. It's so weird. Trajectory. It's so like, it's difficult. But we're at the same agency now, and we come from our past two agencies. We were at them at the same time, which is so rad. But what I want to go to really quick before we even go into this moment now is when you got to that place where you were like, cool, got my licenses now, and I'm assisting. So I want to kind of go back into that realm. What were those next steps that you took within yourself to say, okay, I see the bigger picture, and now I want to channel my career to go after the bigger picture? Because, yeah, I want to know, like, what was your thought process, and then how'd you get after it? Like, how did you channel your career to go in that direction?
Well, just from my own experience and how I function, I think that first and foremost, I come from an artistic point of view. And it's somewhat hard because me as an artist, I don't know how to negotiate. I don't know where I'm going. I just know that I'm going to do what I love and that it will go there. And fortunately, living and growing up in LA, there's so many different types of people that wear different hats. So I knew that as long as I'm on my path, that I'll get to where I'm going. And that's what ended up happening. I was doing my thing, and I was eating, living, sleeping hair. And I spoke to the right person, and that person was like, I feel your passion. I have a client. She's trying to transition from being a Disney star into being a cool girl. Mm-hmm. I would love to see what you do with her.
Wow.
I had no kit. I had to borrow a kit.
Oh my gosh.
This happened to me twice. The first time, that was the second time, but that was a little bit more, I knew it was coming. The first time it happened, I was working at this salon off of Melrose, and I was with a bunch of cool people. And I remember I would travel with them. They would do like different conventions and stuff, and they would set up a booth, and they would cut hair, and it was on this like pedestal, and I would stand there and take the appointments and stuff. And I remember I met someone, and they were like, called me the next day, and she was like, can you do a blowout right now? And I was like,
a blowout, wow.
I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, fake it till you make it. Absolutely. But I knew how to do a blowout, but I was like, yeah, where do I go? She's like, I'm going to give you this address. Go there. It'll be nice, easy, quick. I show up, and it's this huge house. But I had to borrow my whole kit from somebody. And I went to Rite Aid, and I had to buy the Sebastian hairspray. I had nothing because I was...
How did you even know what a kit looked like a proper kit? Or maybe...
I had one of the girls that worked in the salon, I was like, I just had this crazy opportunity. Like, do you mind if I borrow your kit? Not even knowing how her machines work, I showed to this house, Rexy, and the door opens, and it was Lady Gaga.
Babe, stop right now. I can't with you. I can't. This is fucking ridiculous.
And I wish that I can tell you I knocked it out of the park.
Oh, God, babe.
But I'm going to be fucking honest with you. I did not knock it out of the park.
Babe! What the hell? Oh my God, I love that I'm learning this story now on this podcast.
God forbid that I ever tell this story, but yeah.
No, well, wait, hold on. There's so much to go into really quick. Like, what the fuck? First of all, let me put a pin in the fact that, like, for you to have the courage to say in that moment that this opportunity comes to you, you didn't fall short. You weren't like, oh my God, I'm not prepared. I don't have a kid, which so many people would be like, I can't do this. Even if you have the passion and there's a lot more people, I think, and not to put, people, it's difficult. How did you have the courage? And I feel like I know the answer, but like to have the courage to say, I don't have a kit, I don't know how to use these tools, but I'm going to work it out. Like that's a fucking big deal. That's actually, that's like the seed that has grown your career to be the incredible career that you have. It's impressive. What the fuck? Like, would you think, I feel your passion was so rich that you didn't even have time to fucking be afraid.
Babe, I had 20 minutes. And I said, and I didn't even know it was her. I thought it was a freaking blowout for anybody. Dude, what did you do? But I didn't have the luxury of saying, no. I was out all night, which I was. I got like 2 hours of sleep. 23 years old.
Right.
I can't do this. No, I said, yes, of course I'll do this, because you have to say yes in the beginning of your career. You have to. You cannot say no unless it's something that's going to like harm you, but if it's something that you're passionate about, you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And in today's age, it's a lot easier because you can pull up YouTube, and if it's something that you're familiar with, you can be like, oh, that's how you the flick of the wrist for the eyeliner or whatever. You can figure it out, because let's be honest, in this industry, it is about talent, but it's also about your energy, and it's a balance between the two, because you can be extremely talented, but if you're on edge and you're like got all this stuff going on in your mind, the last thing someone is going to want you to do is have an eyeliner in their eyeball or like a hot tool by their cheek.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes. It's so true. Yeah, we really have, it's an exchange of energy in our, I suppose that's anything, but really like, I think because we're so full on and face to face or back, whatever, but just, in close proximity to someone, there is a deep exchange of energy that takes place in our work. So you're right. I feel what you're saying. I want to know what the fuck you did when you realized it was Lady Gaga dying right now.
Not only that, so I walk in and it's literally the day after she filmed Bad Romance, the video, and I hadn't seen it, so there was all these wigs that were on the table, and she was the sweetest thing ever. I mean, so sweet, and she's like, I just need a blowout, babe. I'm gonna go take a shower, grab some cereal if you want, and I'm like shaking, and keep in mind, I was still I was still struggling, so I shopped at the Goodwill. My t-shirt was a purple t-shirt that says #1 Mom. And I remember going into her bathroom with swimming trunks, and I went into the bathroom and I was like, pull it together. Like, I had to get a moment to like collect myself. And she has blonde hair, it's difficult, it absorbs water really well, like it takes a while to blow dry, but I did it. And I didn't know how to use this blow dryer because it was my one of the hairstylists at the salon. Like, I was figuring it all out there, but I knew that my intention was to make her pretty. So no matter what, I was going to make her pretty. And I think that really helped me in the beginning of my career, because my intention wasn't to be like, I worked with Lady Gaga. It was more like, this person in front of me wants to look pretty and I need to make her pretty.
I have chills because I think, and it's almost like for anyone listening who wants to be doing what we're doing, I think one of the most, literally, like I have chills, one of the most important things to realize and to kind of work from is exactly what you said. It ain't about you. You have to look at it from, I'm going into this to make this person feel their most amazing self. I'm going to do my best. It's not all up to you. They have to be, they have to feel that themselves too. But when you remove the pressure from how am I performing? What am I doing? This is about me, my career. And you're like, I'm just going to make her look and feel beautiful. That's the money. That's the money mindset, that allows you to just keep, especially in the realm of celebrity. I mean, this is a very, unique and difficult in the sense of like, it's high, like it's so competitive.
Yeah. It's tough.
It's so tough. I mean, I think it's very similar to acting. You experience a lot more no's than yeses. You have to deal with that, however best you can. And I think that the dealing part evolves and we become better and better at it. And it's a natural part of I think any, competitive career, any exciting career, but to go back to you in that moment, damn. I mean, that's so impressive. And I want to know, when you were in the bathroom and you're like, get it together. I mean, what? It's like, I feel like there's so much even in that moment. And I mean, so much in the sense that so much that could be offered that's, that can inspire someone when they're in that moment. And then it doesn't have to be with a Lady Gaga, or it's just being in this moment where you're so overtaken by this extreme situation that essentially it means so much to you, right? And you have to perform. So this can be sport, this could be anything in that situation. Like, what did you do? I mean, I know you kind of said it, but like, you just looked in the mirror and you're like, Castillo.
I mean, what I did then didn't change. I was like that for 2-3 years. I wish that I could still be like that. I'm so thankful for where I'm at. But in that moment, what scared me the most is that I had not zero experience, but I wasn't qualified to be here. But this gift was given to me, so I had to fulfill it to my best ability. And that's all I did. And I was there and I wasn't talking to her. I was if she wanted to talk to me, but the whole time it was her enjoying her friends that were there, and I was doing her hair. And I remember when I left, I didn't want to tell anyone because I felt like they would be like, what the fuck? Like, how did you land that? Like, what? Like, I should have gotten that. Why didn't you call me and tell me? Because there was a part of me that felt like I didn't deserve it,
That's so interesting. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense in the sense that you didn't even have a kid. So you feel like, how did I get to this, grand opportunity? But life works interesting like that, right? Like, there's no, especially in our career, I'm sure, we can't, if someone was to ask like, hey, Castillo, how do I become a celebrity hairstylist? You're like, I mean, there's no turn right here, go left here, right, and then you're going to land there. It's like everyone's, adventure is truly their own unique adventure. So you absolutely were deserving of it, obviously, and that's why it came to you. And yeah, so let's expand from that place. So I imagine that regardless of the outcome of that blow dry, you left feeling, you had to have felt more confident. I felt
like
you just fucking did Lady Gaga's hair.
Not only that, I took the kit back to the girl and I was like, thank you so much. I will never forget this. And I still haven't. Every time I see her, I pay her with so much respect because she didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
Nobody has to do that. People these days would never do that. They'd be like, no.
Right.
Nor would I ever ask for that. But it's crazy because I told myself I'd never wanted to feel like that again, like not prepared. And so I worked so hard for when that next opportunity came, I was prepared. And, it happened. And sure, I may not have been prepared either, but every time, you learn and then you learn from your mistakes and you do better and you do better. And we're constantly learning and evolving. And there's moments where I travel and I like have to get on my knees and thank God because you like, we're artists, we're our worst critics. Like, we still can, there's that voice in your head saying, you don't deserve this. You don't deserve this.
Yeah, it can get gnarly.
It's scary, but I think the best advice that anyone's ever told me is to not stop. Because you don't know who's watching you. And that's how it happened for me. Somebody influential, a manager that worked at William Morris, was watching me. And he's like, I think you'd go perfect with this person. And I was like, huh?
Came out of kind of left field.
Extremely left field.
I love that.
And then I was like, wait, what? Traveling? I mean, I've been able to experience cities around the world that I never thought that I could go to, and it was because of work.
Yeah, let's go into that for a minute. I mean, it's kind of a bit of a fast forward, but your roster of clients is, they're amazing, and you are so deserving of all of the opportunities that come your way, hands down. I mean, not only from just being a really beautiful human, but babe, your talent is ridiculous. Like, it's gorgeous. I also want to ask you, So, well, no, let me stick to my Four Sigmatic coffee is just working right now.
She's hallucinating. Goosebumps and everything.
I'm so excited. I'm gonna stay focused. So that happens. Walk me into the period where you are now, maybe like in the beginning stages of your first, you have an agent now. Which, by the way, to get your agent, I feel it's hard in the very beginning. It's like, oof, it's a lot of work, or maybe not. For some people, it could fall into, again, everyone's, journey is so different. But, the first agent is always really special, I think. It's kind of like the gateway towards the rest of your career, like the blossoming of it, I think, right? Am I saying this right? Hallucination? You get your first agent. What did that feel like? What happens in that moment for you? And, where are you creatively with your talents?
So, I was never thinking about getting an agent, but I never knew how to negotiate rates and stuff like that. Fortunately, the person that helped me get my first client was the one that was pushing me. So, I had somebody that was supporting me that was like, you need to get an agent. Of course they'll do it. Keep in mind, he's a Hollywood agent, so he can upsell anything, absolutely. But I knew that working with one celebrity girl wasn't enough, because not only that, I've been online and I've been looking at everybody's work and I've been looking at all these agencies. I had the top 5 ones that I thought were amazing that I can hopefully be at in 10 years, and then to have this one person that believes in me so strongly push me through the doors to go do it. I knew that I needed to sell myself in a way that they would see that I was an artist. So what I did, aside from the work that I already had, JPEGs and PDF or whatever, like the work that I did, I not locked myself, but I kept myself in my room where I was at for a week and a half, and I created this huge like hairpiece. And I did it in a way where I can show all of my techniques. And it's funny that I'm bringing this up because I found the image and I posted it on my Instagram like a week ago. Oh, wow. Just to kind of like think back of where I used to be.
I have to find it and post it on the show notes. I'll do that. I
would love that. And I remember then I wanted to create hair for movies and theater. So I created this huge Marie Antoinette like wig that was like, it had like braids coming down and it had this like screen around the face. It was just total avant-garde and dramatic. And I remember I went and sat down with the 2 agents and I was talking to them and I was telling them where I saw myself going and this is the work that I have. And I felt the energy that it was like they weren't convinced. And I said, well, there is this piece that I just created and I wanted to show you, just to show you what my range is and what I could do. And I showed it to them and instantly I felt their energy change. And they were like, okay, we're going to do this. And on the spot, they signed me after I showed them that.
That's amazing.
And I walked out and I was like, I literally had to like pinch myself. And I remember like, it was like just before Valentine's Day. And it was like, I think Valentine's Day was like the following week. And I remember I went in there and I brought them all roses because I was so happy. Oh. And on my first check, I went and I brought like chocolate covered strawberries to the accounting because I didn't know, like, right. It was like, I felt like they were all my family because I never had so much support ever. Not even from my own parents.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Totally. So to have someone that's like, I want to push you for this job. I think you would be great for this girl. I was like, okay, all right, let's do it. I never came from a place of, no, I don't think so, or no, you're wrong. I was like, thank you. Like, I just appreciated any positive like vision that these people had of me.
That's so beautiful, and that's so important. I think I think that's a big part of expanding career, not just in our realm, but just period opportunity. There is a period where yeses are very important, and viewing things from an appreciative state. I mean, I think we should always be viewing it from an appreciative state, but there is times later down the line where you're like, actually, no, this isn't going to be serving my needs, my creativity, my, whatever, all of it. But to say yes in those moments and to be not just saying yes, but you're actually really appreciating the
and
opportunity. Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, it's not like
yeah.
It's not like yes,
Okay.
I guess. It's like no, yes.
Yeah, you're hungry.
Like I'll do it for a meal. Like
right.
I remember when I was doing it for a meal. It's like, you want to pay me now? Let's fucking do this.
Oh my gosh, that's such a beautiful mentality and attitude, because it's not, I think there's a lot of entitlement these days, and so it's it's very different. You come from a background of hard work and hunger, and I think that obviously it pays off. Let's go into, because now, so that, how long ago was this, by the way?
It was like 7 years ago. 8 years ago. 7 years ago,
8 years ago. Yeah. Wow. You're in the mastery years coming up right now, right? Have you ever heard of that?
We'll see.
When
I was going to school was like 7-8 years ago, but TBH, like I got my first agent maybe 4 years ago.
Yeah. Wow. So there's so much to look forward to with you.
I mean, that's why I'm like, I need to keep my head so positive, because it's only the beginning. That's why it's like, it's fucking scary, because the second that I start like being complacent, I'm like, you're just in the beginning, dude. Like, you haven't even broke yet.
You really haven't. And it's so exciting, because it's almost weird to say that, because it's like, what do you mean? You're working with, and I'm not going to name drop. I mean, everyone will see your work that listens to this and connects with you through social, but you have, incredible, talented clients who, they're at the top of their game. And so, and to be working with them, there's, an element of you being at the top of your game. But the exciting thing is, no, you're not. There's even more coming and more. And like we were speaking earlier, there's a comma. There's no period right now. It's just like comma, 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 which is it's so exciting. I want to ask you a bit about, our work is essentially like, there's a big roller coaster, right? So we have the highs, we have the lows, we have the jobs where it's like, oh my God, I'm so excited. And then there's the moments of like, I really wanted that job and it didn't come through, and, that kind of shit. It takes a lot of mental work to keep our minds in a very, robust, positive, place, looking towards what we want in our career. When shit gets hard, like let's just like, at this stage, so now you're not in the Lady Gaga, like borrowing a kit, but you're in this moment now where you're fucking established and you're legit. What do you do in these moments when there are the challenges? And we don't have to go into the details of what those challenges, are necessarily, but we know that they exist. What do you do? Like, what's your self-talk? How do you keep Castillo in that place that, like, back when you were in the mirror and you're like, get it together?
I still have to do that. I have to get in. The thing, my problem is it's hard for me to fake it. There's something bothering me, I don't naturally act out. I naturally introvert. And for some people, it's a little bit more obvious. Like, oh, Castillo's not talking. He's bothered by something. And I would love to say that it doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen. We deal with a lot of people on set and a lot of energy. And I think that a part of me is very, like, an empath, and I can feel people's energy, whether it's happy or sad. So I can't help but take it on, and I'm learning to kind of create a stronger, feel the wall and a little bit more thicker skin. But it's tough, it's draining, and not every day is good. And I think it works the same way in every field, whether you're working at a restaurant, anything that has to do with service. You need to constantly wake up every morning and tell yourself, today's going to be a good day. Today, I'm going to do my best. And obviously the people listening can't see it, but I have things on my walls that remind me that. I have pictures of me as a child smiling. I have little things on the wall that say, like, today I will love you. Because I know how to make money. And by making money is by providing a service, by giving somebody my all. But I cannot forget that I have to give myself a little bit too.
That is so beautiful. And it's so...
It can work for everybody, though. I feel like we forget.
Yeah, no, it's very easy. And I think, Black Belt Beauty, that's essentially kind of, it's the same tone that I put out. I mean, I'm very much you got you, be on your own team. Self-love, it's kind of this hot, trendy topic. And I don't know, I think that people kind of see it and, oh yeah, self-love, but like to really embrace it and, to do the work that it takes to really fortify that love for yourself, which is what you're doing by, putting these messages around your home and, doing the things that you just expressed. It's so important. You're a giver and you want to be a giver. You love being a giver. But if you're not giving yourself at the same time, like, what are you really giving from?
Exactly.
And that's like, I feel like we see that so often where, people can start out with the best intention of giving, but then they forget to water themselves. Mm-hmm. And now they're like pulling out water from I don't even know where to try and keep giving, but it's working against them. It's like,
that's that moment when you look in the mirror, you don't even recognize yourself anymore. You've given so much that you're like, who am I? And as much as we would love for people to appreciate all that you're giving, it ends up being people just walking all over you.
Totally, dude. That's so...
And that's where this industry can kind of get a little bit messed up because it goes from being artistry to being just service. Providing a service.
If you don't do...
Or servant.
Or seriously.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Oh, it's so true. So, oh my gosh. Okay, so a couple things. I want to know, you mentioned... I want to kind of tap into what else you do for self-love, your nourishing rituals. You mentioned meditation. Mm-hmm. Have you been doing that for a while? Long time?
I've been doing that for a while. I love to do yoga. It's funny because people are like, so what do you do for fun? And it's like, I like to hike, like run a hike for an hour. I like to run upstairs in Culver City for an hour and a half. And they're like, no, but like, what do you really like to do? I'm like, no, I like to get on a bike and ride in Venice. Like, they're like, not working out. I'm like, no, it's not working out. It's more mental clarity for me. I love to go to the gym and blast music in my ear because I'm being selfish at that moment. Do you know what I mean? And it's not hurting anybody, so it's okay. Being like a homebody, I like to have everything that I can possibly need at home. So I have a punching bag if I need to let out some anger. I, have a little infrared sauna to kind of
babe.
sweat.
Like you got I would need to hang out in here. I'm like, let's do some kicks. Let's do some sweats.
I have a large mirror if you want to play music and dance in front of it. Like, I like to nurture my inner child when I know that I need self-love. Okay, let's do this. What's gonna make me happy? Let's go and get a massage. Like, I love getting a massage with a good massage.
Right, totally.
Some of them are like
bad
busted. But you know what I've also learned is that taking it like a staycation, like I love to hang out with my family. I love hanging out with my mom because she will bring me back down to like a little child.
Hey,
Not
Mom,
in a bad way.
Castillo's mom, I don't know you, but I just have to officially say that I love you because you always come up in our conversations in the most inspiring of ways. I mean, honestly, I love the energy of your expression with your mom, the connection that you have with her, and how it just, it's so real, and it just, she's your rock.
She's my rock completely, and I think that growing up, I was like, oh my God, my mom's like all these one-liners, and it wasn't until I got to my adult years that I was like, damn, it's so amazing, because not everyone's walking around with one-liners and freely giving them out. And to have my mom, want to call me every day to like put me in a good mood, or to kind of tell me if she's in a bad mood so that I can kind of, lift her spirits up, is just like, it's real.
Yeah.
It's real.
Yeah. And that helps you, I'm sure, stay very grounded and be the, real person that you are, too, for sure. That's beautiful. So I love that you have various modalities to, nurture yourself, to wire yourself, because that's so important. People are like, what do I even, my morning ritual is like, oh my gosh, it's my bliss. I can't even imagine I'm relating to you in the sense, and obviously I'm also relating to you in the sense of like movement. Hello.
Right?
Yes. It's moving meditation.
Oh my gosh.
My long 10Ks in the sand.
Sweating?
It's just like sweating.
Sweating
Release.
is so important. I'm like,
no. Seriously. It's hard for me to sit for long periods of time. I mean, with the exception of my morning hours where I'm journaling and then meditating. But yeah, I love that you honor your needs. It's so important. And that's, I feel like that translates so well into being a creative person, into being an artist. Because if we, aside from just being a healthy human, just on a creative level, if we burn out, what the hell are we creating? It's like burnt toast. It's burnt hair.
I mean, we might as well work at a place where they choose 1, 2, 3, or 4, and we just do that.
Right.
And it becomes robotic. But it also works in the real world. Obviously I makeup. I think makeup makes people look pretty and it covers flaws and stuff, but that's not my only interest in talking to you. We connect on so many other things, and if you didn't nourish those things about you, you wouldn't be able to share them with me. If you didn't have the knowledge, I wouldn't sit here and be like, oh my God, tell me more about the mushroom coffee
and
you're
the bar
drinking.
nut.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It connects you with people in other ways, so it doesn't always just feel like work.
Totally. Yeah. Absolutely. That's actually a perfect segue to ask you. You mentioned that you're doing improv classes. So obviously, it feels like a love outside of what you're doing professionally. Acting, right? Can we frame it that way? Or is it more of just, what this particular class is offering you? How it's
I think that the art of acting is amazing. It's something that I never thought that I could possibly do. And a friend of mine, she's an actress, and she's like, I go to this improv class because it helps me really find myself. And I was like, are you serious? She's like, you should come with me. So I went, and the teacher was like, what is your intention? And I said, my intention is just to explore the unknown. She was perfect. Come on in. And this is a class of 20 people. She's like, you can audit it or you can join. You let me know. And so I joined, and it's basically going in front of a class and being your most authentic self, but also speaking at the top of your intelligence and not thinking at all. And I'm like, wait, how do you do that? And she's like, this is the only time you're going to work on your inside and not your outside. It's not about what you look like. It's about what you're portraying and giving. And it's helped me. I mean, I could never do karaoke. God forbid I get in front of a microphone, I'd lose my mind. If you were to ask me to do this before I was taking the classes, I would probably have so many restrictions on it because I was like, oh my God, what are they going to think? But one of the exercises in this class is, okay, go up there and tell a 5-minute story. And I went up there and I would do it, and people would do it, and some people that are new can't even do it. Or she'll go up there and be like, sing a song.
Wow. Or
she'll have 2 people go up there and be like, okay, your roommates, go. So it's to have someone's be like, I want you to embrace your inner thoughts, and I want you to embrace your spontaneous actions in the way you move, in the way we want to see it.
Be raw.
And we're not going to judge you. I will guide you in a way if we need to, rules or don't ask questions or talk about this or whatever. But for someone to say I want you to have no filter and go.
Dope.
And channel it in a way that's positive and it's creating a scene and all this stuff. So it's helped me, and I'm still not good. I'm not good at it. I'm not the best, but I know that if I wasn't okay, she would ask me to leave the class. So I'm doing something right, but it's taught me to just be me and to not give a fuck, because you have to not give a fuck to be able to go up there and make a fool out of yourself.
Oh my gosh.
And I made a fool out. The classes are 3 hours long. I can tell you I'll make a fool out of myself 10 times.
Wow.
But most of us won't get into situations where we know we're not going to kill it, because let's be honest, we're perfectionists. We're artists. Mm-hmm. So to not be perfect at something, but to still try and do it is challenging for us. We're and there was times where I would leave class and be like I would call my friend and be like, fuck. In the beginning, my first 3 classes, I call him dude, I sucked so bad. Not only did I suck, but I couldn't even think up there. And there was a moment he would listen to me say, he's like, you're still going to this class? I thought you were just testing it out once. Like, why are you still going? And it pushed me because I was like, no, I want to do this. Like, this is fun for me. It's a type of therapy in a way.
It's a release.
It's releasing. It's walking through fear. It's trusting your instincts. It's listening because you're listening to the people there. It's all of that in one. And I think that it's helped me because one of the problems that I have too is that like we have these clients and they have relationships with very powerful people. And sometimes a client will invite us, hey, come to this event with me. Come to do this. And there's been numerous of times where I've been at a dinner table and I felt so scared to speak because I thought I was dumb. Oh. I'm sitting at the table with heads of Netflix and, actresses that are like so established and I'm just here. And it wasn't until I remember I was sitting there and there was someone that was sitting next to me. I didn't know who it was. And I was like, I have nothing to talk about. And the girl looks at me and she goes, it's okay, just be pretty.
Hand over mouth.
And I walked away and I was like, no.
I know. That makes me want to like flex right now.
Right?
Yeah, for real. Like the fire in me is like,
and so I don't ever want to be in that situation again because we all have something to share.
Hell yeah, you do.
But we're just all so scared to share it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we can. Yeah. I mean, absolutely.
It's not like oversharing, but it could just be like, so how was your day today? Like the easiest things. Or like, my day was awesome. Like, what did you do today?
It's, you know what, I think I love to kind of boil it down to like, okay, what is it really? It's just being comfortable with being yourself and not being, I mean, I'm personally not a small talk girl. I don't fucking like small talk.
Babe, we've been here for 4 hours. We just started recording.
I know, seriously. We had like 2 amazing podcasts before this actually hit record, but damn. No, but I mean, I can do the whole, sometimes you just kind of have to for whatever reason, work or whatever, social. But the truth is like, I don't turn on with small talk. I could be polite, but I like to hang out in the deep end. Not to say that every conversation has to be like so profound, but just like substance, And I work best in that kind of scenario. And I'm, if I'm in a situation, let me say it like this. I've gotten to a place with myself in my life where I'm like, I'm just going to be me. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Now, if I was in a situation where I didn't feel comfortable and it wasn't because of me being uncomfortable with who I am, but it was just because, and this is something I think important there are more people that are uncomfortable to just be themselves, and that's energy. You can feel that. So if you're sitting in a room of people who are fucking uncomfortable with themselves, someone like me who is very comfortable with myself, like it's almost like too much, right? Like it would stand out. So then what happens? I'll just sit inside and be polite and whatever. But if you're hanging out with people who are just like comfortable being with themselves, it's funny how you just, it's an opening. It's like, So it's not always even, I think, about the person, like you being uncomfortable being you in that situation, but maybe it was, also you're feeling, being an empath too, like you're feeling the energy of just people who are just kind of performing.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
But we want to be self-deprecating and being like, it's all you. You're the one that's quiet over here. And like, you got to just be the pretty face. But it's like, I get it. And you're completely right. Like, not every situation is like even worth doing that. But it's more about the moments where I wish I was a little bit more talkative. Like, I wish I would have introduced myself, or I wish I would have said my opinion, because it wouldn't harm anybody, but it was like just to kind of like be a part of this cool conversation that you wanted to be a part of, not just to be able to talk to a wall.
Plus, it could surprise you, some people that, maybe were the uncomfortable person, and all of a sudden your comfort opened them up.
Exactly.
And then there's like amazing friendships or, work opportunities that come. I mean, that can happen too. So that's a beautiful realization for you. And I think, God, you make me want to take an improv class. Seriously.
Please come with me.
Oh my gosh. You know what I've heard that and I feel like you just validated it. I feel that it's a very important, it's a wonderful thing to do if you want to speak publicly. Like it's the pathway to that from what I've heard. So I've never done it.
What do you think you're doing right now? Speaking publicly, honey. me being a perfectionist, I was like, okay,
man.
if I want my career to go where I want it to go.
Yeah.
And if I want to inspire people and I want to teach people in my future, I need to be able to be in front of them. Yes. First and foremost. If I can't be in front of them, no one's going to listen to me. Because trust me, I could do my job and be quiet, but people want to know. Yeah. I mean, in my career, in the beginnings, when people wanted write-ups, like how-tos and how I did it, my mind would just explode. I'm like, I don't know. You grab the curling iron, you put it there, but it's like, no, you need to know, because if you want to teach and you want to inspire, you need to be able to explain what it is you're doing.
Absolutely. And I think that, the beautiful part about that too is that it's kind of saying, I have this talent, this thing that I love, this thing that I'm very good at, so much to where people actually want to know how to learn to do it from me. And in my ability to teach, I'm able to keep this unique talent that I have going in life through other people. It's like this ripple effect, right? So much where like maybe when Castillo decides like I'm done with hair, whenever that, you're like 90 years old or whatever, just make it up. But you've now taught so many and inspired so many people to be able to do things in their own way, what with the Castillo kind of, touch maybe. That's a beautiful thing, to be able to do that. Yeah.
It's funny. Like and the thing that I also learned is that by working on myself and these little insecurities that I have, it's opened the doors and it's to new opportunities that I would normally say no to. So it's actually helping me to continuously say yes in my adult years, because, for example, I've been taking this class for 2 months, and then I think it was halfway through the first month, I had this girl Jacqueline reach out to me on Instagram, and she's a part of this huge hair thing. It's called Fame Expo, and it's a huge convention where they sell hair products and all these new brands are sharing their new tools and stuff. And they have a main stage where they have celebrity hairstylists and come and do a demo for an hour. And I know what that is because I've taken those classes and I've went and seen it and I've taken the notes and I've videotaped it. And she asked me if I would do it. And I said yes. So on June 2nd, I'm doing this demo on the main stage at this big hair convention where I'm teaching a class, and I'm terrified, but I know that I have all the elements to make it right. I just need to be able to walk through the fear and do it.
This is so amazing. I'm so proud of you. Babe, that's fucking rad. And also to like go from full circle, like ring in my hair. Oh my God. I have this ring that keeps getting stuck in my hair. To have been in that position before, like being the one taking the, like you had mentioned, you were writing down, what were you doing? Appointments or something, but you were at those conventions. You said at the top of our conversation. And now to be the person on the stage performing, that's huge. Actually, I want to get this podcast out before that, so any listeners that want to go check you out and learn from you, be inspired by you, I think that's we gotta make.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, hell yeah. Wow, this is so rad. And how exciting to be nervous.
Oh, I'm so nervous.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
There's like, and it's funny because I learned that, no one ever tells you it's okay to be nervous. Like the first time I heard it was from my acting teacher, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to come to class today because I'm going through something. I went through a breakup, and it was a very I just didn't feel 100. And she's like, Castillo, that is the best time to come. When you were nervous, when you were feeling uneasy, that's when you get the best work. And I'm like, that is so true, because I start to think about it when you're on set and things aren't happening right, and you have like a timeline, and it's like, and you just gotta do it. Some of the most beautiful things happen in those moments because you're not thinking, you're not overthinking it, you're just doing, and you're doing what you know how to do and what you're passionate at. So I appreciate you acknowledging that, because now you're the second person that's told me it's okay to be nervous. I feel like a macho man would be like, don't be nervous. Only women be nervous. You're strong.
That's a good macho man voice.
I know, right?
Wait, but you know that science, this is a real thing. So what happens to the body when you're excited and when you're nervous is the same thing. Physiologically,
you start sweating.
Exactly. Your heart, right? Yeah. It's the same thing. The only difference, and this is like a science proven thing, is the view at which you're seeing it. Like you're looking at it from oh my God versus oh my God. It's literally the fucking same thing. Right. Mel Robbins is an amazing, inspiring woman who, I don't know if you ever heard the 5-second rule. Have you heard of this?
Oh,
Has it
remind me.
Well, I
think maybe you told me about this.
Did I? Maybe. She wrote this amazing book, and it's all, her process, her story, how she came to the quick way to say this is that she was in a really not fun place in her life, and she was trying to motivate and get past this place. What ends up happening is she was like going to bed, I think it was. She's watching a rocket take off, and it's like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It was a countdown, and so every day she's been trying to wake up, and the alarm goes off. She wants to get up and like take control of her life, but she keeps hitting snooze. So, cut back to the rocket launching. She's like, you know what? Tomorrow, I'm gonna fucking 5, 4. Well, she didn't say it like that, but she probably would because she's dope like that. She's like, I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna do it. So the alarm goes off, and she's laying there. I might be botching this a little bit, but not really. This is like essentially what happens. And she replays the rocket. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and she gets out of bed, and that changes her whole life. And it sounds, it's taking this big thing and like putting it to a very small moment, the way I explained it. But it literally, and science has proven, and she explains this in her book. When you count backwards, it's not the same thing if you were to go 0 to 5, for example, but going backwards, it's your prefrontal cortex. It's like you're operating the part of your brain that, stimulates action. So that basically, it's crazy. Like that one thing turned her in, her whole life around basically. And she's a journalist. She does a lot of inspiration. She does speaking all over America. I think she was like last year, the most active female speaker in all of America. Wow. She's incredible. Yeah. So she's worth following on Instagram, reading the book. It's, even the audiobook. Actually, I really love it because she's so...
I'm more of an audiobook kind of guy.
Are you?
Because I can't, I'm reading and I get a little bit confused. And I need to follow the line with my finger.
Yeah, a lot of people are like that. And that's not, it's not a defect. It's just the way that we, are able to process information.
Yeah.
Some people are very visual, some people... But... when I first listened to the book. I actually didn't buy it, so I got the audiobook, and I love it because she'll just kind of mess up and keep going, which I love that realness. It's like this podcast. It's like, fuck it, just keep it real and raw. But where were we? Just where the hell were we? Rabbit holes. Rabbit Hole Roxy. Did you know that's one of my nicknames?
No, why? Because you take yourself into
Because I'll just go into so many rabbit holes. I know we got to get you going because you have some places to go to. But, nervous and excited. Same thing. And yes, I will go to a class with you. I would love that. Truly.
Please.
That'll be so much fun.
Oh my God, you would do so well.
You would think... I want to say, yeah. I want to embrace that.
Because there's no way to mess up. And the thing is, everyone in there is learning, so there's no judgment. If anything, if you're doing something good, you'll know because everyone starts laughing.
Oh God, but then if they don't, you're like...
No, but they're laughing with you because it's like improv. It's funny. It's comedy.
That's so great.
So I would love for you to come. It'd be my gift to you.
Oh, I love you, babe. I want to do it. Yeah. Yes, we're going to do that. I'm excited. I'm all turning red thinking about it.
Okay, cool. Well, it's every Wednesday. It's tomorrow if you want to come with me. It's 3 hours.
Oh my gosh.
From 3 to 6.
Okay.
But the teacher, Marilyn Carney, is so sweet, so amazing. She's like an angel. And not only does she guide you through the class, at the end, she has a little recap because the last thing she wants is for you to leave in your feelings. And she'll be like, tell me one thing that you enjoyed out of the class. And then and this is in front of everyone. And then she'll go back, you know what my favorite thing that you did? It was that one scene where you yelled and you were screaming and I really felt you were honest. So it's like you leave knowing that a lot happened. It's like, when you go through a good therapy? Like a therapy session?
Yeah, I haven't been through one, but I can understand this.
I take therapy because I need to, but
yeah.
At the end of it, she's like, okay, well, this was a very, intense therapy session. I want you to go and do something that you like. You're doing so good now, because we go through a lot of past stuff, but it's like, you got to realize when you open yourself up like that, there's a part of you that's feels drained. So you need to fill it back up with the things that make you feel good. So they do that in this class and it really helps because if not, I would leave feeling like oh, it was so weird and I sucked and I made a fool out of myself. And all these things that we were like want to tell ourselves, but in reality, it's like it's beautiful because you were being yourself.
That's so dope.
So I want
Sold.
you to come with me, please.
Done. I'll do it. I will do it. I'll do it this month. We're going to make it happen. I love that. Okay, so I'm being mindful of your time. I want to ask you one thing. It's kind of a big question. How do I frame this right? What inspires you most about what you do? About being this amazing, talented hairstylist? Like, what's the most inspiring part of your work?
I think the most inspiring part of my work is to see what I'm capable of doing and where I'm capable of going. I think that, every night I thank God and the universe for blessing me with the talent, but I also thank them for giving me the opportunity to show my work on levels that I never thought I could reach. And there are moments when I feel like, oh my gosh, like I'm doing this hair and I hope that it comes out good, and then it comes out a certain way that's amazing. And then when I see the client again, she's like, don't worry, Castillo will figure it out. He's so creative. For them to see that, it reminds me of why I'm in this industry. It's to create art that somebody, even if it's just one person, will understand.
Microphone drop, dude. That's so fucking beautiful. Castillo, I love you. You just dropped so much. You guys, I mean, if you don't have chills at least, or have had at some point in this conversation, then I don't know what to tell you. I was about to say something really raunchy, but I was like, there might be kids. Yeah. Okay, babe. Can you tell our listeners how they can stay connected to you online, social?
Absolutely. I think right now my most active thing is Instagram. It's at Castillo_13. I do post a lot of my work, and I post a lot of my travels and selfies and all that good stuff. But if you ever have any questions regarding anything that you heard in this podcast, please DM me and I will help you to my best ability.
Perfect. Okay. I love you. I know you have places to go, so thank you again. I'm going to give you a public love you and wrap out.
I love you too, actually.
Seriously, I can't. We're gonna do it again. It'll be fun later on. Like, woof, down the line. Okay. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for sharing your time here with us.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening.
Yeah. So go take this inspiration and put it to good use, whatever that is for you. Catch you on the next one. Thanks for taking the time to check out this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please share it with your friends. Head over to iTunes, subscribe to this podcast, rate it, leave me an honest review. Let's connect. I'm so excited to do that in this space and really create content that elevates your mind in support of your best performance in life. You can find me on Instagram at blackbeltbeauty. I'm active there every single day, and I look forward to connecting with you all. So thanks again, and I'll catch you on the next one.